It happened in a room built for legends. The lights were sharp, the cameras were ready, and an audience accustomed to global superstars watched history shift in real time. When Rose, the global sensation of BLACKPINK, heard her name echo across the stage at the BRIT Awards 2026, something bigger than a trophy was unfolding. It wasn't just a win. It was a signal that the global music landscape had changed. Unbelievable doesn't even begin to describe the moment. Because for the first time ever, a K-pop artist had won at the BRIT Awards. And not just any category. International Song of the Year. One of the most competitive global categories in the entire show. The song was APT, a collaboration with Bruno Mars that had already moved across continents, across cultures, across language barriers. But that night in the United Kingdom, it moved into history. To understand why this moment matters, you have to zoom out. The BRIT Awards are not just another music ceremony. They are one of the most established institutions in Western music culture, deeply connected to the UK market, its industry network, and its influence across Europe and North America. Winning here means more than chart success. It means acceptance. It means positioning. It means being recognized inside a system that traditionally hasn't been built around Korean pop acts. And yet, there she was. Rose walked onto that stage not as a niche international act, not as a viral moment, but as a global artist whose brand value had been carefully built over years. Her journey didn't start in 2026. It didn't even start with APT. It started with years of disciplined positioning, musical credibility, and global expansion through BLACKPINK's dominance and her solo evolution. By the time APT was released in October 2024, the groundwork had already been laid. APT wasn't just a catchy collaboration. It was strategically positioned. Pairing Rose with Bruno Mars wasn't random. Bruno Mars carries cross-generational credibility in the United States and Europe. His track record in live performance, radio longevity, and commercial stability made the collaboration instantly visible in Western markets. From a marketing standpoint, it bridged audiences. From a strategy standpoint, it lowered cultural barriers. From an influence economy standpoint, it amplified reach without diluting identity. And the results followed. The song climbed charts globally. It generated streaming momentum across major platforms. It entered conversations in the US, in the UK, and Asia, in markets that don't always overlap. It wasn't a one-week spike. It was sustained performance. That matters in award cycles. Because awards don't only measure hype. They measure impact over time. By the time BRIT Awards nominations were announced, APT was already positioned as a serious contender. But winning? That's different. Especially in a category filled with international heavyweights. Especially in a space where representation has historically been limited. When Rose won International Song of the Year, it quietly redefined what access looks like in the global market. This wasn't about fan votes overpowering a system. This was industry recognition. Industry acknowledgement. A formal validation from one of the West's most established music institutions. There's a subtle difference between popularity and positioning. Popularity is loud. Positioning is strategic. Rose's win reflected positioning. And here's where it gets interesting. Because this wasn't only about music. It was about brand architecture. Over the past few years, Roseanne Park has built a profile that extends beyond streaming numbers. Luxury partnerships, global campaigns, high-fashion alignment, cross-market interviews. These aren't side notes. They are part of long-term brand investment. When an artist builds that kind of presence, award recognition compounds that value. It increases leverage. It strengthens negotiation power. It elevates perceived credibility in future collaborations. Winning a BRIT Award shifts perception in boardrooms as much as it shifts perception among fans. But the real turning point wasn't just the trophy. It was the narrative that followed. International headlines didn't simply report a winner. They reported a milestone. First K-pop artist to win at the BRIT Awards. That phrasing matters. First creates legacy. It places Rose in historical context. It positions her name inside industry timelines that extend decades back. And that kind of milestone travels. In the United States, where K-pop has steadily expanded over the past decade, this win reinforced something important. The global market is no longer segmented the way it used to be. Music travels faster. Influence spreads wider. Investment follows attention. When a Korean artist wins in a major UK institution with a song that resonates in the US, it demonstrates something beyond fandom strength. It demonstrates integration. Still, there was another layer unfolding quietly in the background. Because collaborations like APT are not just creative experiments. They are calculated expansions. They allow artists to tap into radio formats that might otherwise be closed. They create shared ownership in new markets. They align brand narratives. Bruno Mars' involvement wasn't about borrowing credibility. It was about mutual amplification. And when the award was announced, even without every collaborator physically present, the impact was collective. It reinforced the idea that global partnerships are no longer exceptions. They are the future. For Rose personally, this moment also marked a shift in trajectory. Solo achievements matter. They redefine individual identity outside of group dynamics. They clarify long-term positioning. Winning International Song of the Year placed her firmly in conversations that extend beyond genre labels. What makes the moment even more powerful is how understated it was. There was no over-the-top spectacle. No manufactured controversy. Just a factual announcement and a historic outcome. That restraint made it stronger. It felt earned. In an industry driven by constant noise, longevity often comes down to strategy. Artists who understand brand value, timing, and cross-market influence build careers that outlast viral cycles. Rosé's path reflects that awareness. From musical choices to partnerships to global appearances, each step has quietly reinforced a larger vision. And if you look carefully, this BRIT Awards win may not be the peak. It may be a transition point. Because once an artist crosses that kind of threshold, the expectations change. The conversations shift. Future projects are measured differently. Investment increases. Opportunities widen. The global market responds. There's also a cultural dimension that can't be ignored. Moments like this reshape perception. They normalize representation. They expand definitions of what international truly means. And they quietly inspire the next generation of artists watching from Seoul, from Los Angeles, from London. When Rosé BLACKPINK stood there as a BRIT Award winner, she wasn't just holding a trophy. She was holding a signal of where the industry is heading. Music is no longer confined by geography. Influence no longer moves in one direction. The economy around artistry has evolved. And in that evolving system, positioning matters more than ever. Unbelievable? Yes. Historic? Absolutely. But more importantly, strategic. Because this wasn't luck. It was alignment. It was timing meeting preparation. It was years of global expansion meeting the right collaboration at the right moment in the right market. And if this is what 2026 looks like, the bigger question isn't how she won. It's what comes next. If you've been watching the shifts in global music carefully, you know this wasn't random. It was part of a larger movement that's redefining how artists operate across borders, across industries, across influence channels. And as the lights faded on that BRIT Awards stage, one thing became clear. The global music landscape just adjusted. If you're interested in where music, branding, and strategy intersect next, stay close. Because this story isn't over. Hit like, subscribe for more exclusive updates, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next global shift as it happens. The influence economy is moving fast, and moments like this don't just go viral. They redefine positioning in the global market. If you want to witness the viral moment as it unfolds and follow Rosé's next move on the world stage, you're in the right place.